Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. As usual, I am KaneLock, and today, as promised, we're going to go over these event missions and the waves in the missions. Now, we did discuss in the patch notes video that I just did the other day exactly how the event itself functions. Today I'm going to kind of go over some strategies within the waves, as well as what I believe you should be focusing on in the event shop. So the first thing I'm going to go over with you here, I'm going to go ahead and pull up my shop, and I'm going to show you what I've done with it so far. Now, in the shop, you can see I've already purchased 2 of the big ticket items. Of course, I purchased Godzilla, and I honestly believe that one should be your primary focus, the first thing that you should buy. Godzilla at level 1 is probably not going to be super valuable to you unless maybe you're a newer player and you don't have a lot of 4-star units unlocked yet. But also, even for the seasoned players, since he's going to be a recurring purchase throughout these events, the earlier you can get him and start working on him for each subsequent event, the better, because I do believe that Godzilla is going to be a very powerful, very useful unit as he levels up. Now, the other thing that I bought, which is a little bit of a point of contention for some people, is the legendary map. Some people, including Sir Melee, have the idea that it's kind of a trap to go for that 2,000 points to spend on the legendary map. Now, the reason that I'm spending it on the legendary map, I'm still looking to level up some of my key 4-star units, such as Terrestris, such as Godzilla 21, units that do have high value, but generally at a higher level. Now, when I did it, I believe I pulled Biollante, and personally, I'm not going to complain about that. I've mentioned it before, Biollante is my absolute favorite kaiju. So even if she kind of sucks in-game currently, I'm always going to enjoy getting her to higher levels. Now, this is something that if you're at mid-level or higher, you might be able to go ahead and skip the legendary map, because you can get those from your ranked battles, so it's not as valuable. But it's something to consider, again, if you're a newer player. That way you can start working on some of the 4-stars. Once you get most of your 4-stars between level 3 to 5, depending on which unit it is, it becomes very viable in the early stages of the game for you newer players. So even if it's something like, something like a Biollante, or a Mothra, or Terrestris, those are still going to provide value for the newer players. Now, the important thing to remember, though, is there is a finite amount of points that you can earn. They said it's about 4,000. Now, I don't know for sure yet if that 4,000 is just for the first half of this event, or if it would be for the event in its entirety. The reason to keep that in mind is so you can plan out what you want to spend your points on. Personally, I'm going to skip Jet Jaguar most likely, just because I don't really like him a whole lot. Maybe it's because I've only got him at level 1, but frankly, it's just a unit that does not impress me. He's got those 2 blocks, which can be useful again for newer players. He might have more value at higher levels. It's just not something I'm going to bother spending my event points on. That is kind of where it's going to come down to your preference as far as what you want to do with that. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of these cosmetics, but the poster that they've got here for Singular Point is actually a pretty cool poster. I really like that, so I'll probably end up getting that at some point. And then you've got the title, the Otaki Factory employee. To me, it's not much of a title. I can live without it. But if you're one of those people that likes to collect various titles, or maybe you're a big fan of Godzilla Singular Point, the 200 points for that is not bad at all. And then they've got this kind of cool little Shiva icon here. I kind of like this icon, so I think my focuses next are going to be on the poster and the icon. But also, the ones that can also be valuable here, or the one else that is also valuable, is the G tokens. 1,500 G tokens for only 50 points. That means that if you get 500 points, as I've got now, which is very useful, that's a lot of G tokens effectively for free. As you can see here now, if I purchase them, that would be 15,000 G tokens, and that would literally double the amount that I have currently. So that's not a bad investment either if you're trying to level up your battle pieces and you don't have a whole lot of time to grind out those coins, or if you're just a little bit short. Now, one of the things I'm going to recommend against here is purchasing the event tickets, because they're 100 apiece and it's only one event ticket per purchase. Whereas if you go ahead and spend, say, the 150 gems from the event screen when you're out of tickets, that's going to give you 4 tickets. I think that's honestly your better value. So overall, the shop is actually a great resource that I think is still very much underutilized. You've got, obviously here, I still have my free tokens as well as the free maps, since I am a premium pass holder. But you'll also see here frequently in these other spaces where the battle pieces are, you'll find that a 4-star battle piece pops here relatively frequently, which is, again, excellent as a resource for newer players, or for players that are like myself and like some of the other veterans of the game so far, where you just need maybe one more piece in order to go and level up your particular 4-star unit that you're working on. They do cost 25,000 G tokens when they pop in the store, but it is something that can still be a valuable resource. It's something, though, to be careful on. Don't fall into the trap of spending it on a 4-star unit that you're not currently building, because that 25,000 G tokens is a pretty hefty price tag for it. But this also allows you, I think you'll get 5 daily refreshes that you get just by clicking up here. It'll ask you if there are items you've not purchased yet, if you want to watch the ad to update the lineup. Make sure before you do a refresh, if there is a unit or a battle piece in here that you want to purchase, make sure you do purchase that before you utilize those refreshes. Unfortunately, the way that the event works is it does have a limited shop, so there's no refresh options here. Something that I hope Toho might consider in the future, allowing you to refresh the shop, and you'll have a chance maybe of popping another legendary map or another 4-star unit, in addition to the fixed items that you can purchase. But as it stands now, like I said, it is just a limited shop. So what I want to do next is I want to go ahead and go into the event, and we'll do a few of the battles here. And I'm going to kind of go through them wave by wave, and you'll see sort of what I utilize as a strategy. Now, some of these I don't have the general strategy memorized for, so it's going to be kind of working on the fly for that. But the other thing to consider is I also have fairly high-level units overall. So if you're a newer player, you might want to pay attention to strategy a little bit more, and I'm going to emphasize that across the board, because it's not going to be as easy for a newer player as it is for someone who's been playing since global launch. So let's go ahead here, and we're going to do the waves from the start. I haven't done the starting wave since the event launched, so I don't have the pieces that are dropped memorized yet. So we're kind of going to be going through this together. So I actually got a pretty good starting lineup here. I'm actually going to go ahead and just drop Terrestrius. He's going to basically, at the level I have him, one-shot this whole thing. But I'm also going to drop Godzilla here, get that re-stun. Now, you can fall victim to a stun lock, but as you can see, this level pretty much one-shot everything, even at that level. So most of the time, I would say, once these units start dropping en masse, you either have a flying unit, hopefully such as Godzilla, Rodan, King Ghidorah, any of those, so you can destroy them without risking damage to your units. Ghidorah, to be honest, Ghidorah probably can solo this wave. So could even a low-level Megaguirus, Rodan, low-level King Ghidorah, any of them could probably solo it. It is pretty easy at this first level. So the next wave, let's see what they got for us here. This is not such a good starting lineup. As you can see, they pop a Rodan right at the beginning, and I don't really have any anti-air besides this air base, but it is still only the second wave. I do have my air base leveled up a little bit, which means these units are probably not going to survive. But definitely make sure you can get a ranged unit out, be able to handle that Rodan at the top right at the beginning. From there, it's a matter of cleaning up these rather insignificant units. I can pretty much do it with any of the units I have right now. As you can see, it looks like my helicopters at this level are just going to absolutely wreck it. So the important thing with that, get anti-air out as soon as you can, and then be ready to deal with some smaller swarm type units. Let's go ahead and we'll move on to wave 3 here. The very first boss wave is Godzilla. Now, I've actually got a really good starting lineup here. I'm going to go ahead and just drop Space Godzilla. He'll basically one-shot this whole thing. Even those tanks in the back, they don't concern me all that much because they're going to be getting aggroed by the towers as Space Godzilla pops them, so he's not going to be in a lot of trouble. I'm going to go ahead and drop Rodan on the other side, go ahead and deal with this aerial unit. He's going to come in, probably just go straight for Godzilla. At my level, he's going to just totally wreck this Godzilla. But as you can see, they do drop a swarm there. Be prepared for that if you can't kill Godzilla quickly. Swarms are pretty easy to deal with, even at the lower levels, so that's a big plus. Once they get up to the higher levels, if you're a newer player, those swarms can be downright deadly. You're actually going to be seeing that in this video once we get up to wave 10. So here we are, we're going to start at wave 4 now, see what we've got to deal with. And again, I've got another great setup for this one. At my level, my Mothra will annihilate this. I've also got a high-level missile strike here. That might one-shot. Oh, pretty close, but let's go ahead and just throw Ghidorah in here. He'll deal with these mobs. He's going to one-shot him because my Ghidorah's, I think, approaching level 9 or 10. Pretty high level. In this one, since I got Mothra, I could have just dropped him right on the tower, and that was going to be it. I've got level, I think he's 21, Mothra. Being able to bypass all the other units, go directly for the tower, extremely valuable. Mothra can totally be an MVP. This wave, honestly, not too difficult. Nothing that we haven't seen in the earlier waves yet. So we move on to the next one. And again, I've got another major MVP in this because I've got Gigan. He'll go right after these structures. My Gigan's one of my highest level units. He's gonna go in here, tear apart these towers that they're dropping. So I'm gonna drop these Dorats again, just kind of try and pull some aggro, let Gigan do his thing. This one can be rougher at lower levels because that is a lot of structures you have to deal with. They've also dropped the Super X, they've dropped the tank base. That is something that can be a major problem at the earlier levels. So be prepared to deal with those structures. Long-range units, area of effect attacks like train bomb or missile strike, or if you've got a beefy Gigan, you can drop Gigan, letting him do his thing. Just be careful of the stun locks from those tanks. And now we're going to go ahead and move on to our next boss, which is Mothra. And again, this is a pretty good lineup for what I've got here. We're still at low levels, which means I'm not super concerned about that stealth bomber. Any ranged unit should be able to pretty much annihilate him. And I've got 3 ways that I can basically annihilate this Mothra right off the bat. So I'm going to just go ahead, drop my Mothra, let him do his thing. Mothra is extremely fragile. This is pretty much it for that Mothra. As you can see, their units are low enough that they can't deal with my high-level Mothra. But again, we've got a lot of structures, so those area of effect attacks, your Dimension Tide, your train bomb, and your missile strike, very valuable for waves. Let's see, what was that? I believe that was 4 through 6. So let's go ahead and we'll go on to number 7 here, and we'll see what they've got. Not a super great start, but I do actually have a very high level Megatherius, and my tower here, my Markolite cannon, very high level as well, so there's not really much that they can do. Oh, and I got my boy Godzilla 21. If you can protect him and you've got him at a decent level, once he gets to a tower, it's game over. As long as they don't kill him immediately once he gets to the tower, it'll be at most a matter of seconds. Now they dropped TA9, so for you newer players, that could be a major issue because he is such a tank. As you can see, not high enough level to pose a threat, and that's pretty much all she wrote. That one's a pretty simple wave, even with not such a great starting hand. You will need some anti-air, of course, as you saw with those flying units. Again, a flying unit to start, wave number 8. I'm going to counter my Rodan. Go ahead and drop Space Godzilla and through, because we do have those towers again, so you guys are going to probably be looking at ranged attacking or finding those area effect attacks to deal with those towers and those aerial units. Nothing too extreme here, but they are starting to ratchet up difficulty a little bit for the newer players. Alright, we've got our next boss here, which is a G89. This is not the greatest start. Again, the only reason I'm going to find success here is because of my higher level units. But they're dropping a lot of significant stuff here. That Rodan could be problematic. Of course, we have the truly obnoxious tank units there that can provide that stun lock. Not something I prefer dealing with. But my Mothra doing some work, having that charge, getting that instant damage. She is level 3, so she's not too bad. But lower level units that power there would be problematic. Plus dropping the Mothras. Just be careful of that. Be prepared for them to suddenly drop units that you're not expecting. It's always a good idea to try and have at least one area of effect attack available to deal with those structures. It's also a good idea to make sure you have a ranged unit on hand to deal with the aerial units. I know you have very little control over it. Sometimes you just need to cycle through the deck and try and get those units out, risk running out of energy. If you're a lower level, again, at my level, it's just kind of walking through these guys. This is a great level to farm, though, because your mission is and as you can see, this one has a lot of trouble. Now this is again with level 1 Jet Jaguar, so you're not going to see a whole lot of risk here, but if you do let that go on for too long, it's going to be problematic. Once you've taken care of that mass amount of swarms, that Minya and that Biollante Rose form, they stop dropping units and it's just a direct shot at the tower. So it's just a matter of, at that point, surviving that initial onslaught. It's again great to farm, to be completing the missions to earn some points here. Decent setup here. They're going to spawn the Destroya larvae and looks like a Batra. Not something that's going to be problematic, but they do spawn the Dorats, so beware of that. As well as some pretty heavy-duty ground units. So you've got the Hedera in there and Anguirus coming for you. Anguirus can be pretty easily stun-locked, pretty easily countered in some ways. But there comes King Caesar. Even at my level, that King Caesar was a bit worrisome because my Jet Jaguar is not very strong. So I wanted to get rid of him. Now with Minya out and Desghidorah, and Godzilla, this wave is over. But don't sleep on them. They do have some dangerous units that they can put out. And at lower levels, they can wreck the place if you're not careful. Finally, on this wave, Wave 12, we've got Space Godzilla to deal with. And here comes Mothra. Not a problem for me, because I've got Terrestrius. My Terrestrius is about level 7. At this stage in the game, he's going to just utterly annihilate that Mothra. I don't even think that Godzilla 89 up here is going to be a big threat to my Terrestrius. But we do have enemies here. He can be really annoying. I'm going to go ahead and send my Dorats after him. The Kamakuras are screwed because I've got aerial units they can't do anything about. Now, Batra here, he's surprisingly tough for low-level units. Unfortunately, though, my Fire Rodan there, he got some backup from the Dorats, managed to give him enough time to evolve. But I'm just going to go ahead and end this here. My Ultima is going to annihilate these things. Yeah, there you see he one-shots that adult Batra. Fire Rodan's going to come in here. He's not going to do much damage. He's only level 1. But Ultima, 3 shots, and a couple hits from Rodan, and that's game over. So that was the first 12 waves. Now, normally I would go ahead and buy at least one more round of tickets using gems, but as you can see, I'm low on gems. I decided to take a chance, gamble on those pickup packs. Didn't get anything out of it, but I had, enough gems to spend, and I figured, what the heck, why not give it a chance? Because all of the gems that I have are just from playing the game naturally. I am completely free to play, aside from purchasing the monthly premium pass, which I think has tremendous value. If you can afford that $5.49, it does offer huge value. You get the free Rodan 93. You also get a great deal of maps for free, a ton of G tokens if you can afford it. It's a great investment for this game. As you saw, I went ahead and collected my mission rewards, most of which were either from the daily login or from just killing that certain number of units. And that netted me an additional 200 tokens. And that was just using up my daily tickets. So as you can see, it's not hard to build up enough of these tickets to be able to purchase pretty much whatever you want in the shop. So I could go ahead and purchase the Jet Jaguar. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I've got enough time to rack up enough tokens to get him again. But I'm going to go ahead and get this custom background here, the poster, and I'm going to go ahead and purchase that icon. I really do kind of like that icon. It's not my favorite, but still not bad. So that's it for the first 12 waves. What I'll do is I'll probably break this up into a couple of episodes and just do my daily tickets until I've managed to save up enough gems in order to actually purchase more tickets. It's pretty straightforward. These first 12 waves are not that hard, even if you're at the lower level. If you only have units, I would say, let's take a look here. Oh, it's not even going to let me do that. Well, there is a recommended level for each of the waves that it'll display. I'm not entirely sure if they're referring to player rank or your average unit rank. Personally, I would think if you have units that average about level 9 or 10, you should have no problem getting through those first 12 waves. But the difficulty does end up increasing somewhat exponentially the higher you go up the ladder in these waves. So be aware of that, and also be aware that this is an event that is going on until, I believe the date was November the 5th. So even if you get stuck on a wave, you can still grind out some of these points and a decent amount of G tokens just by grinding on wave 10. That's a pretty effective way to do it once you've hit that wall that you just can't advance past. Other than that, again, it's pretty straightforward. I enjoy it. I actually am not a huge fan of them splitting it up into 2 parts this time, but I guess I sort of understand that. They're trying something new. I don't know what motivated it. Hopefully they'll go back to just allowing access to all the waves that you can reach as of day 1, but, you know, if not, it's not that big of a deal. If you do have any questions about strategies you can use, or any questions with the event shop, feel free to leave a comment below. If you've got any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Also, check out Sir Melee's Discord. A lot of experienced players there, really good group of guys. They can help you out if you have any questions as well. But that's going to be it for this episode. Appreciate you guys taking a look with me today at the new event we've got going on. And as usual, do the whole like, share, and subscribe thing. Let's see how big we can get this channel to grow, and hopefully grow the Godzilla battle line and Godzilla community in general. So until next time, guys, this is KaneLocke signing off. Peace!